Hello there. Today I'm going to answer a question that I received about the difference between schizoid and schizotypal personality disorders, and I thought that was a really interesting one to answer. Less of a question, more of a request really, to sort of make a video about the differences. And yeah, I think it's quite important because I think a lot of people, because the similarities of the names, they get it mixed up a bit. And there are actually very distinct differences between the two. The first being, and quite the most important one being, that schizoid personality disorder is not actually related to schizophrenia and cannot develop into schizophrenia, although you can be more susceptible to it if somebody in your family has schizophrenia at any time. Somebody genetically close to you, that is. Whereas schizotypal is very much related to schizophrenia and can develop into schizophrenia. So that in itself delineates quite a vast difference between the two personality disorders. I'm going to start with giving a roundup of schizoid. I've done this before in a video, but I feel like seeing as I'm highlighting the differences between the two, it's important that I go through them again. Schizoid personality disorder is defined by patterns of self-isolation, passivity in emotions and indifference to compliments or criticism in any way. We find it difficult to form reciprocal personal relationships with people. The idea of forming reciprocal connections is so unnerving and creates such a level of unease that it is simply not something that we contemplate. Now, there is an element in schizoid of creating a very rich and varied fantasy world in their head that they then live in a great deal of the time, but we know that it's not real. I know that the fantasy world that I often retreat to in my head is completely nothing to do with the real world. I know that the real world is around me, and I actively actually use the fantasy world in my head as an escape mode for the real world when the real world is getting too scary. And in the past I have used it as an energy transference thing as well, where I've ploughed energy into staying into my head because I really wanted to avoid ploughing energy into daily life because it was becoming too much. It is a very bad habit that I have. I can do it with books as well. I can end up expending all my energy living in the fantasy world inside books. I know it's not real, but at least it's not the real world. You know what I mean? It is an active escapist mechanism. Everybody has it, but those with schizoid personality disorder use it as a tool to retreat from reality and protect themselves from it. Schizotypal, on the other hand, is characterized by patterns of magical thinking. There is a detachment from reality. Yes, the self-isolation is present. Yes, people with schizotypal personality disorder don't form close personal relationships or find difficulty in forming close personal relationships, but schizotypal withdrawal from personal relationships is more to do with a detachment from reality than a detachment from people. A schizotypal personality disordered person might feel like the real people in their lives aren't actually real. They might actually believe that things around them are not what they seem. There is definitely a very strong element of paranoid thinking in schizotypal personality disorder. They can be uncomfortable and paranoid, they can be odd and peculiar in their dress or mannerisms, they can be distrustful in social situations and anxious of people because of the delusions that they might be experiencing, their perceptions of reality that are not entirely grounded in reality. That is much more a definition of schizophrenia, and that is why the two are more closely related, and that is why schizotypal can develop into schizophrenia. So, schizoid, we are isolationists who do live in fantasy worlds, but we are aware that our fantasy worlds are not real, and we are actively seeking to avoid reciprocal connections because they do not feel right to us, because they make us feel uneasy and unsure and frightened. Whereas schizotypal personality disordered people will be avoiding personal connections and relationships and avoiding the real world because they may actually believe that the real world is a fantasy that is acting against them. Honestly, I think schizoid personality disorder should not be called schizoid personality disorder, especially when you think of the fact that if you look up schizoid in a thesaurus, it just comes up with mad and crazy. It's like, wow. Charmed, I'm sure. But, you know, I really don't think that it characterises how I actually am. I'm not like a person with schizophrenia. My sister had paranoid schizophrenia. I know what that looks like, and nothing that I have ever experienced has ever felt like that or looked like that. I am schizoid. That is all I am. And it has no relation to schizotypal, and it has no relation to schizophrenia. Like I said, whilst they are both eccentric personality disorders, which are characterised by people who are very odd and peculiar and strange, they are neither related to one another nor even remotely the same. The reason why they have similar sort of descriptions in certain areas is because the completely different characterizations of each personality disorder can lead to patterns of isolation and detachment for completely different reasons. And can also lead to living in a fantasy world for completely different reasons and with completely different outcomes. That's it. So, I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you hopefully on Friday with a new book video. Sorry there wasn't one this Friday, but I was just needing a rest. I've had a bit of a week, a bit of a back strain, but it's all good now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.